Well, I don't know if you have any doubts or problems with noticing or with any of these topics. Okay, very nice. So no problems, right? No problems, no questions. Everything is okay, more or less at least. Yes? Cool. So now you're going to do, Francisco, thank you. You're going to do your sample test, okay? What is really going on in the real test, okay? So I'm going to read the instructions and I hope you can look at the words. I know they are kind of, sorry, they are kind of small, but let's check if you can understand them, okay? For questions from 1 to 6, look at the terms about presentation techniques and introductory activities and the 3 possible examples listed from A, B, and C. Okay, so I hope you can have some Zoom on your cell phone or the computer you're working on. Uh-huh. Here it says concept question. What is a concept question? We have already checked in one of the techniques, right? The teacher asks the students to repeat the target question after her. The teacher asks the students, am I talking about something definite or something possible? The teacher puts quiz questions on the board and asks the students to answer them in pairs. So in this case, it's related to concept questions. So you need to answer, Francisco, and see what of these is related to this. So here we have a situational presentation, modeling, a leading, focus on formalization. Okay, so I hope you can look at it properly, Francisco. You have 10 minutes to do it. Go ahead, start now. Remember, find the keywords, Francisco. If you have a doubt or a question, let me know, please. Okay, I can see your answers, Francisco, your responses. Number one for you, concept question is letter B. Because you're asking about definite and possible, possibility, could be. Number two, it's A. Situational presentation. The teacher tells the students about something that happened to her one day at school. Okay, so they are giving the situation, right, to relate what they have experienced with the topic. Modeling for use letter C. The students listen to the target language and the recording, then say it themselves. Okay, so maybe the students have to model about the recording. A lead in, according to you, it's number A. Sorry, letter A. The teacher starts the class by doing some revision before teaching some new language. Maybe this is not correct, Francisco, because remember, leading is let the students be. Uh-huh. So maybe I will go more for the last one. The class describe pictures or capital cities before listening to a recording on visiting different cities. Maybe. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know because this is the moment in which students can be themselves. Okay, but maybe you are right. I'm just giving my prediction. I'm between yours and I'm between C. Number five, focus on form. According to just B, the teacher elicits the spelling, some new words, and writes them on the board. Okay, so maybe that has to do with form. Uh-huh. Okay, that's a hard one indeed. And finally, contextualization. It's B according to you. The teacher explains to students that you use should to give someone advice. Okay, so you are contextualizing the topic by giving them the correct answer. Okay, so here are the questions, or sorry, the answers from Cambridge. One is B, correct, Francisco. Two, it's A, excellent. Three, it's C. Four, as I was telling you, Francisco, I will go more for C. Because this is, remember, lead in is when you give the students the chance to be themselves, to practice, to play with the language, to go and look, to say something loudly, and so on. Okay, this is the moment in which students can be themselves. Number five, it's B, correct, Francisco. And number six, it's A. Remember, contextualization is not giving them directly the topic. It's to make like kind of context before looking at the real topic. The topic maybe is should, but you don't give it directly. For example, in this case, the teacher gives the students a story quiz, a history quiz, then uses this to introduce the past tense. Okay, so the context is the quiz. What kind of questions can you have in a quiz related to past simple? Mhm. So you got 4 out of 6. So that is okay, Francisco, indeed. Okay, so as I told you, doesn't have to be perfect. I wish it would be perfect, but not even I am perfect. Okay, nobody's perfect. So in this case, I think this is correct. I think you made some mistakes, but now I'm sure that you understood about leading, and I'm sure you understood about contextualization. In case this is coming on the exam. All right, questions or problems so far, Francisco? Until here, doubts, questions? Do you want me to repeat one more time? No? All right, thank you very much. Now, today we're going to pass to another topic, and this topic is a little bit more I need a lot of your participation. It's going to be more interactive, okay, Francisco? So I hope lots of participation from you. The teachers couldn't connect. I don't know the reason. Maybe they got a very hard reason. But right now we're gonna look at this topic, okay? And let me tell you that it is almost the very last topic. Okay, on Wednesday we're going to be finishing talking about teaching, and let me tell you something. With this, we are done with module 1. We're gonna have like a quick revision the Wednesday if possible, and that's it for module 1. I have seen that you don't have much time to do the quizzes in the model, maybe because they take you long time to do it. I don't know, so maybe I will try to send you a sample test of module 1 by the model. I'm going, or by WhatsApp, and I want you to answer it. Okay, so that, and then I will give you your score. You will need to resend it to me, at least the answers, and I will give you your record, and your score, sorry, and I will let you know what kind of band you might have of this module one. Okay, so this is remember, we're talking at module one, part three, background to language teaching. This is almost the last topic. Okay, so pay lots of attention, Francisco. This is very practical, and I hope lots of participation. Now, in this case, we're going to talk about practice activities and tasks for language and skills development. What is this, Francisco? Well, basically, now we have already seen the presentation and the introductory activities. Now we're going to go to the activity directly, to the activity that will make your students something to learn, not to remember, not to analyze, but really use the language. Okay, so these are activities and tasks designed to give learners opportunities to practice and extend their use of language, such as vocabulary, functional exponents, grammatical structures, subskills, etc. Okay, so this is the moment. Okay, remember that in your lesson plans, you might have warm up, introduction, and then practice. Okay, I don't know how you work with your lesson plan, but this is basically the practice, the body of your class, and so on. So this is the moment in which the students have the chance to practice the language. Okay, and it's very important because we might sometimes we get confused between an introductory activity and the task itself. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you, Francisco, what differences are there between these three activities and how much they give learners? That how much they give learners, I'm talking about freedom. How much freedom do they give learners? I mean, like, students are leading, students can do whatever they want using the language, or they are controlled. So here we have activity one, two, and three. All right, so I want you to have a look at them, Francisco, and type me in very short words, not long words. What do you think is the difference? You might say, for example, activity one is more focused on form, and activity two is more focused on vocabulary. That's the difference. And what is the how much freedom do they give to the learners? Well, for example, activity one, maybe the student just listen and complete, so he doesn't have freedom. But in number two, he does have freedom because he just use the language and so on. Okay. Yes, Francisco. So, for example, in the first one, it says complete the sentences about yourself with can or can't. Here we have the sentences, and then you just add. Write an email to a language school asking them about their courses. Find out when the courses are, what the courses are about, how much they cost, and how long the courses are. And finally, three, write an email to a friend asking them to come on holiday with you this summer. So as you can see, Francisco, the three activities are related to writing. They are related to the writing skill. In the three of them, you have to write, but obviously there is a difference. So tell me very quickly, Francisco, with no pressure, what do you think is the difference between the three of them, and how much freedom do these activities give to the students? If they can be themselves, or they are guided, or they are controlled? Go ahead, please, Francisco. I will wait for your answer. You don't have a timeline. You can spend the time as much as you want. Organize your ideas. Mhm. Don't worry about the spelling and this stuff. Try to do your best. Okay, very nice, Francisco. I received your answer. You said that the first one, focus on form, it is a control activity. Because you only have, it's delimited, right? You only have can or can't. You cannot say I like to swim, or yesterday I went to speak Mandarin. I don't know. Okay, so you have just can and can't. Okay. In activity number two, it's focus on form one more time, according to you, and focus on meaning because you need to give an opinion. Mhm. And it is a controlled situation with a little bit of open. Very good. Okay, so it's like both, right? It is controlled, but at the same time, you also let your students go on because here we have four options, right? When the courses are, what the courses are about, how much they cost, and how long the courses are, right? So we have four things those are the four tasks, but you can use whatever language you want, right? Maybe in the first one you are making a question, maybe in the second one you are just want the people to finish a phrase. Very nice. And finally, number three is focus on leading. It is a real open activity. Very nice because then you have only one task, that is ask your friends to come visit on holiday, but that's it. That depends on you what kind of vocabulary you are using, the expression. Maybe we would you like to come, or would you like to come, or maybe do you want to come? Okay, very nice, Francisco. So let's analyze with the Cambridge analysis. Okay, in activity one, as you said, it is a controlled restricted practice activity. Gives students practice in using language accurately, as you said, focus on form, right, to say something correct. It is an exercise which focuses on the form of language. What is the form in this case? Can or can't. Okay, very nice, Francisco. So you have almost the similar or very, very similar analysis from Cambridge. Okay, number two. And the second one is less controlled, freer practice activity. The students have some choice. So as you said, it is partial free, partial control, and this is called freer. So we remember this word because we are going to be using it later on. Freer. Okay, give students practice in using language accurately and in communicating. Okay, so as you said, it is a little bit like focus on form and but focus on meaning. Focus on form because of accuracy and focus on meaning because of communication. uh And it is a task. Basically, in the first one, it is not a task because you just need to complete. But a task, remember the difference between task and activity, or task and exercise, is that in a task you need to be more involved. It is more like complicated to answer. For example, an activity with a real world outcome. So that means that it's an activity that will help you to go outside, or to use the real language. And finally, activity three, as you said, it's a free activity, gives students practice in communicating, which is focus on leading, and it is a task one more time. Okay, very nice, Francisco. So you analyze almost exactly as Cambridge, and this is very, very nice. Okay, so now let's continue. We must remember this, Francisco, and I want you to have this very, very clear. Speaking and writing activities can be categorized to how much they control the students' use of language. Okay, so as you know, speaking and writing are productive skills. You need to produce them. So you will need to go from controlled on to free. Okay, which is about the 97% of freedom, because you know that you cannot have a complete free classroom. It's about 97% of freedom. Now, control, freer, and free. Okay, so these are three important concepts. What are these? Well, they are types of activities. Controlled. For example, copying words or sentences, just chants, drills, and so on, in which you as the teacher, you control the whole activity. You don't give the chance to students to be themselves. Filling gaps, and that's it. Copy sentences. So they are totally controlled. Okay. Free activities, total free activities. We have discussions. Okay, so you I don't know, you talk about abortion. So tell me your opinion about abortion. Let's discuss what is the opinion of abortion. And it's a total free activity because you don't expect the students answers, right? They can give you many surprises. Problem solving activities. For example, you said, I have a problem. I am sick. I have a sore throat. Now you are my doctors. Give me your solutions. And they start talking, and sometimes they might talk about pharmaceutical things or maybe home remedies. Mhm. Sharing or comparing ideas. Okay, information or experiences. Okay, so tell me, what do you think about about obesity? So then they will start giving their opinions. I know, and in my experience, I had a friend that was like that, and then they start explaining themselves. Okay, rank ordering, prioritizing, putting a list of things in order of importance. Okay, so for example, you ask them to, okay, from tell me what is the most important activity in a day. Go to school, number one. Number two, take a shower. Or I don't know, you know what I mean? So they are prioritizing the words, but you don't know the answers and you don't put them on the board. They need to give them by themselves, otherwise it's not a free activity, because if you give them the option, it's a partial free activity, so you need to wait for the students answers. Writing emails, stories, letters, invitations, or compositions, all the last ones are obviously free activities because you ask them to do something by themselves. Okay? So far, so good, Francisco, about controlled and free activities. All right. Because now we're going to look at the concept of freer. What is freer? The teacher can predict to some extent that language the student will need to use with less guidance and support in comparison to the free activities, in which students need known support and guidance. Example, role plays, information or gap activities, sentence completion, grab filling, and service. Okay, so what is the difference between these? In the free activities, students don't need any guide or very little, like very little guide because you let themselves. But in freer, they need some guide and they need some support. For example, in a role play. Mhm. You make your students make a conversation, but you are there, you are helping them. You ask recommendations, okay, and you will tell them, hey, you have a problem, you one of you have a situation, have a problem, and the other one is the one like kind of a psychologist. So you are going to tell him, hey, guess what, I have a problem. My dog died yesterday and I am in depression. And the other says, no, don't worry. You should calm down. You should go and get another pet and so on. So, as you can see, because we're talking about recommendations, we can predict, we can guess what students might use, the some extent that the students will use or will need to use. In this case, for example, modals of suggestion: should, ought to, had better. So we are expecting them to use them, or we as teachers, we explain them and we tell them, okay, you are going to do this conversation, but I want you to include this model and this situation. So now, as you can see, it's not a free activity, because if it were a free activity, then you didn't have any topic to talk about, or were a topic but not with grammar stuff. Mhm. So is this right with this activity, Francisco? Controlled, freer, and free activities. No problems with this line? Excellent. So they are very simple concepts. But now, this is totally different. Receptive skills. We were talking about productive skills, right? That it's basically, we talk about control, freer, and free activities. And that's it. Okay. You can have discussions, you can have role plays, you can write an email, but doesn't matter. But remember, receptive skills cannot be divided into controller, free, or freer, but they can be focused into sub skills. Okay, so I don't know if you remember about the sub skills, Francisco. I hope you do, because this is very important now with these receptive skills. Remember, reading for yeast. What other sub skills do you remember about reading and listening? Tell me, Francisco. Now, skimming, very nice. That's for reading, right? Skimming, scanning. What else for reading? I'm sorry, I have a sore throat. Reading for detail, very good. What else? Because this is the moment you will use it. Reading for specific information, very good. Now for listening, do you remember some of them? Which are basically the same ones, right? Do you remember? We also have, for example, listening for specific information, listening for guests. Mhm. Very good. Listening for detail and so on. Okay. If you have a question or a doubt, you can go through your notes if you have notes, or you can look at the of the documents, or you can investigate. Why not? I mean, like, I don't want to pressure you with learning all these concepts. I wish you could, but I know sometimes it's kind of difficult, right? You're going to do this activity, Francisco. As I tell you, this is a freer activity. Why? Because you are controlled, but at the same time you are free to write the things that you think are the most suitable for these charts. Now, what reading or listening sub skill do they focus on? What is the name of the type of activity? Okay, so I want you, Francisco, to answer as you think. Okay, so for example, number one, read the article. Is it a mystery, an adventure, or a love story? So in this case, it's reading for guests because we're having options. Okay, we just need to decide. And what is the name of the activity? Choosing from a list or multiple choice. So imagine you as a teacher. How would you give the instructions? Okay, please, students, choose from the list. What is the text, and that's it. Okay, so you are going to do the same with number two, three, four, five, and six. Okay, look at the chart and try to decide what is the sub skill. This part are for listening, and this part is for reading. What is the sub skill? Information, specific information, detail, skimming, scanning. And what is the type of activity? Filling gaps, giving your opinion, complete sentences, complete a chart, etc. Okay, Francisco? One more time, you have all the time of the world. Okay, try to think what is the sub skill and what is the name of the activity. Okay, Francisco, so go ahead. If you need to look on Google, right, you can write, I don't know, reading sub skills so that you can remember. You can do it, okay, without any problem. You can do it. And go ahead, and I am waiting for your answers. Okay. If you have a question or a doubt, please ask me, Francisco. Don't worry. Okay, Francisco, I am looking at your answers. You spend kind of time to do it, but that's okay. I mean, like, the point is to practice, right? Okay, so the first one, or number two in this case, is listening for detail, choosing answers from a list, and truthful statements. Okay, evaluating options. Okay, very nice. So basically, it's almost the same one as the first one, but now for listening, right? Number two. So number three is predict about text and skimming. Okay, that means that you need to look in a close way, right? In a very close way, the main idea at the beginning or at the end. In your groups, look at these pictures and then read the story. Discuss and agree if the correct for the picture, right? The correct number. Okay. So number four for you is listening for specific information, which is filling the gaps or complete the sentences, right? And number five for you is intensive reading. That means that you need to have lots of time to do it. Manage a complete reading, evaluate the knowledge. Okay. Yeah, that could be. And finally, listening for detail, specific, completing a chart. So in this case, you need to look at every single word they say because they might tell you about population, location, and so on. Okay, very nice, Francisco. Let's see if you have the very similar answers to Cambridge, which I hope you have. Okay, so here are the answers. Number two is listening for specific information. Okay, but that's okay. Listening for detail, it's basically the same. Just remember that it for specific information, you have like the specific questions, right? And listening for detail is like, for example, listen to a recording and complete the word. Okay, so you have a word and then you have letters that are missed, and then that's more listening for detail. So in this case, is choosing. It's multiple choice questions, true and false questions, as you said. True, false statements, evaluating options. Very nice. So it's basically the same, just with other words. Reading for detail in number three, and you have predict about text and scheme. In this case, is more like related to detail and cohesion. The Gumball picture in the right order. Uh-huh. So in this case, you have to order the pictures just like that. So it's more reading for detail. You need to focus on each part of the text. Number four is listening for specific information. Very nice, Francisco. You got that exactly. Listening for specific information, and it's filling gaps. Form filling, which is the same as filling gaps. Excellent, Francisco. Number five, reading for specific information or for specific detail. And you have intensive reading. Well, they have to do somehow, right? In this case, it's jigsaw reading, where each student is given only part of a text and needs to tell other students about his or her part, and so both can have the same information. So this is called jigsaw. Jigsaw means to interact, but talking about reading. And finally, listening for detail, or in this case, for specific information or detail. And this is just a table completion. Okay, so what you say, completing a chart. Right, very good. So you have very similar answers, Francisco. Maybe just be careful with number three. Okay, it is more reading for detail, and you wrote predict about the text and skimming. Not really, because remember, skimming is to get the main idea from the first part of the paragraph, like just to find this specific sentence that will give you the idea of the context. So be careful with this. So in this case, we're not talking about context; we are talking about categorizing. So that's the main difference. And and that's it. Basically, you have the same, obviously with different names, like these are more uh, formal concepts, but you have the same answers. Okay, so questions or doubts about this, Francisco, so far? No, not really. You have lots of you have to work in this class, as you can see. As I told you, it is more practical this time. That's okay, very good. Another activity. Okay, maybe I can help you in this one. Match the activity to its name. Please note that some of these activities have not been mentioned before in the unit. Okay, so as you can see, we have many activities, but we cannot mention all of them. What you must know is that you need to relate these activities with your real life teaching, Francisco. Okay, I'm sure that you have done brainstorming. I'm sure you have done sentence completion. I'm sure you have doing extension tasks. But now let's contextualize them. Okay. So this is what you're going to do, Francisco. And in this case, I will ask you to do it in 10 minutes maximum. Okay, you have the name of the activity and you have the activity's description next to them. Okay, in the other part, let's say. Mhm. So I can help you with one, Francisco. Just let me know which one do you have doubts on, which one do you think that will be very difficult to get, and I can help you with that one, and then you will continue with the others. Tell me, Francisco, which one do you think will be hard for you? Or which one do you think that you have the answer, but you only want to confirm? Analyze them, ask me, because we haven't checked all the concepts. So maybe you have a question in one of them, and maybe I can help you with that. Okay, mingling. Mingling, it's kind of a complicator, but basically is when imagine you have a topic. Okay, well, let's talk about the favorite fruit. Okay, but I want you guys, you tell this instruction to the teachers. I want you guys to give me what is your answer, what is your favorite fruit, and then complete with the other ones, or make your guess. For example, let's imagine that we have Pancho, Elena, and Laura. Mhm. So Pancho, what is your favorite fruit? And Pancho says, my favorite fruit is banana. Okay, Pancho. Then he goes to the next student, and he says, I guess your favorite fruit is watermelon. And the next student says, no, it is not. My favorite fruit is pineapple. Your favorite fruit is banana. My favorite fruit is a pineapple. Then, Laura, your favorite fruit is a strawberry. And Laura says, yes, that's my favorite fruit. So Pancho's favorite fruit is banana. Your favorite fruit is pineapple, and my favorite fruit is strawberry. So you are getting the information, but according to other students. And obviously, you as a teacher, you need to be monitoring near the classes. So that is mingling to get more and more information, and everybody will get the context and will answer and so on. So what do you think is the activity, Francisco, in this number, letter L? No, sorry, I. Letter I. Mingling. Okay, think Francisco, you are getting information from the students. Well, each student. They are asking each other, and you as a teacher, you are a guider. You need to be attentive to what the students answer. Yeah, that's correct. Number two, moving around the class to discover or find out something from one classmate after the other. This is called mingling. Hmm? Mingling. Very nice. Now, it's your turn, Francisco, to look at the others. Okay, try to guess. You can use the internet if you want to. If you don't understand a name of an activity, and if you don't use it, that's perfect. But if you require, you can have some help. Mhm. So I'm gonna give you 10 minutes, Francisco, to do it. In this case, I need to pressure you because we don't have much time and we have other activities to do. Okay, so 10 minutes and then we will check. Go ahead, Francisco. Think about them. Look at the key concepts. Check, check it. Okay, Francisco, I can see your answers. For you, A is 4. Brainstorming, listening, and shouting out ideas and learn quickly. That sounds good. B, it's 7. Supplying words to finish a sentence, sentence competition. Letter C, it's 6. Extension task activities usually done at the end of the class to give order. Okay, so like kind of reviewing, right? Number 3, it's service. Number 3 for you, it's service. Making a complete diagram showing relationship between words. I'm not really sure. Well, let me see. Maybe I'm making a mistake. Yes, for you, letter C, it's 6. Extension that. Letter D, it's 3. Now, yes, I'm making my warm ups. Okay, complete a diagram. Letter E, it's 1. Service, that's which we're discussing and getting information. Very good. Letter F, it's 5. Visualization. Imagine that something is live, building a picture, put another person. Categorizing. Letter G, it's 9 for you. Putting words in groups according to the feature they have in common. Could be. H, problem solving. Number nine, letter H is 8. Finding out what the others think about a topic, often by combining a questionnaire. Could be. Although this is also a kind of a survey. And Minging, we have already done it. Okay, so I'm gonna give you the answers from Cambridge. Uh-huh. And let me tell you, you are, as I told you, yeah, so you made a mistake in the problem solving and the survey. I think maybe it's the other way around. Okay, A is 4, correct. B is 7, excellent. C is 6, perfect. D 3, E 1. Okay, so service is a task. You're telling that is task. That is a task which involves discussing, but this is not exactly a survey, right? A survey is a little bit more formal. So finding out what happens, think about a topic often by completing a questionnaire. Remember, questionnaire and survey have to do. Visualization 5, categorizing 9, problem solving, just in time. And problem solving, Francisco, you said that H was 8, but it's the other way around. It's number 1. You discuss about a topic, about this problem, you see the solutions, and so on. And finally, mingling, we have already done it. Okay, so you just got confusing in these two. Remember, surveys have to do with questionnaires. Mm-hmm. Yes, Francisco, so far so good. Are you tired? How are you doing today? Are you tired? More or less, right? Okay, so you will decide. I have another extra practice, but tell me, do you want to do it for homework or do you want to do it right now and not having any homework? Unless I give you maybe a reading, because next class we're going to talk about assessment. We're going to talk about evaluation for teachers. So maybe I will let you kind of a reading. But it's up to you. Tell me, do you want to do this extra activity for homework or do you want to do it right now? Excellent. So you might not have homework, right? And what is good also is that you can have the reading and just pay attention only to the reading. Okay. So here we have, what column do these activities belong in? Some may belong to more than one. Okay, so maybe that will depend on the situation. We have contextualism, freer practice. Remember that it's partial free, partial control, and free practice. So tell me, Francisco, we're gonna do it together. We're gonna do it this time together. Choral drilling of pronunciation. What's your opinion? Control or freer or free activity? Just tell me if you want, just write me 1, 2, or 3. And I will be putting the letters here. What do you think about choral drilling of pronunciation? Number 1, only 1? Don't you think that can also be in free practice or free practice? Okay, so choral drilling for you it's 1 and 2. Yes? Okay. Rank ordering. To give the things in order. Control practice, free practice, or free practice? What do you think, Francisco? Rank ordering. Okay. So here I'm going to write B and B. Letter C, chants, songs. Control practice or freer or free practice? One? Only one? Yes, right? Maybe because you cannot control the songs. They are already done. So you just fill the gaps, but you don't control, you don't have any choice, right? Or maybe you can have choices if you have a chart. So maybe I will also do free practice, but that's okay. Discussions. What do you think? Talking about discussions. Only 3. Okay. Sentence completion exercise. Control, freer, or free? Two and three? Yes, you might have it controlled somehow. Sorry, this was not right. Sorry, I made a mistake. It was, yes, what did I write then? No, it was sentence. Did I say sentence completion, right? Yes, right? Yes, thank you. So you are telling me that it's two and three one more time. But did you tell me that it's only three, right? Yes. So I'm gonna erase the D here. E mustn't be here. Okay. Story writing. What do you think story writing? F. Two and three, one more time. Okay, so I'm gonna write here F. Okay. Copying words. One only. Oh my gosh. It's so difficult to write a G here. Are repeating minimal pairs. Repeating minimal pairs. One only, two. Okay. And finally, learning conversations by heart. Like you need to learn one only. All right. Very good. So just to make this clear, ACGHI for control practice, ABEF for fear practice, and BDEF for free practice. Okay. So now let's check with Cambridge. Let's see if we are correct. Yeah, there is a little bit difference. Okay. So the NA we are correct. In C also G, H, and I. G, H, and I. But we forgot to write here the E. It's ACGHI, but also E because E says sentence completion exercise. So it's like the can and can. Do you remember, Francisco? In the very first exercise, you can have it controlled because you only have to use can or can't. So this is basically the why this is E also. Okay. For prayer practice, we have, I think, like four, and there are only two, which are B and E only. A and F, no. Okay, A and what other? A and F, no. Okay, A, no. Choral drilling of pronunciation. Okay, in this case, it's not a control practice. Okay, because you are not controlling the choral drilling. They are going to do it in their own speed, for example. Okay, yes, you have a sentence, but the choral might change. Okay, so maybe you will ask the students to say it as in a question of pronunciation, for example. I don't know. Give me sentences with the pronunciation with double E. And they will say B. So everybody repeat B. Okay, maybe you can ask the students to do it. So choral drilling in this case, it's more um like a sorry, it's a controlled practice only. Sorry. So it's only a controlled practice, cannot freer because you already know the words. And even though you ask the students, they are still controlled. Okay, and we wrote also F, story writing. In this case, no, it's not a free practice, it is a total free practice. Why? Because in a story you just give them a topic. Okay, you just give them like a horror story, and then the students start doing it by themselves. So that's why A and F cannot be in this freer. And finally, for free practice, we got B, D, E, and F. B, D, and F only. E, it's for your practice and this completion exercise. Why no, Francisco? Because you are delimiting in them. Okay, so because learning competition, maybe you expect that they say something about the topic, so you don't let them be. For example, you can write I like and then write. And obviously you are expecting like the answer. I like soccer, but you are delimiting somehow because you're talking about likes. Will be a total free practice if you say, now write sentences because that's totally free, not sentence completion. Write sentences about yourselves. So these are the answers. So we just got like 2 or 3 mistakes, which is good. And I'm very happy for the result, Francisco. Okay. Questions or problems about this? Freer about the activities of this art. Do you have any question, Francisco? Okay, very good. Okay, so I'm going to be uploading this video in in a few hours, and also I will upload a kind of a text, Francisco, related to assessment. We're going to talk about evaluation next class on Wednesday, and that is going to be the end of module 1. Okay, so wait for the real test. I'm gonna be sending the pages maybe in that model, and in that model I will also send you the reading. Okay, Francisco. So thank you very much for this lovely class, and thank you, and see you on Wednesday, the same hour from 6 to 8. Goodbye, Francisco. Have a nice evening. Rest a lot. Thank you for waiting that long and studying. Bye.